Hi everyone, it's Jen with, well, Spirited Saturdays, but Wednesdays uh, this week. And thanks, Ariel, for allowing me to share your day. I had a very busy weekend, so I didn't get to film over the weekend. Um, but this week we're talking about, well, the last week we were talking about what can we do if we are victimized in some way? What would you tell someone to do, and how would you respond if someone told you they were victimized? And this rotation was created by Brianna, so thank you, Brianna. I'm gonna draw on my experience with bullying. This is not something that I tend to really talk about, but I do think I think part of the reason I don't really talk about it or think about it much anymore is because it's very painful. And I think I think that's like the first thing that somebody needs to realize if you're being approached by somebody who is being bullied, if they're coming to you, that's requiring a lot of risk that they're taking. It's requiring them to confront their own shame, to give a voice to that shame when they probably are really in the thick of it. And it's really difficult. One of the things that really stood out to me about bullying was that it felt justified. Like, it felt because I was a kid and they were kids, and I didn't know any better. I didn't know that that I thought that I was worth that treatment. So it really affected me. It affected my security with who I was. It really affected my sense of worth. And so I never went to anybody really about it. I mean, sometimes I would talk to friends about it, but even like doing that, it was almost like I was admitting that I was less than because I was the subject of bullying. And why would they pick me to bully? Why would they do that? There must be something wrong with me. So that never felt good, because it was like I was admitting my outcast status, and I didn't want to talk about that. And I would rather just pretend that it didn't exist when it wasn't actually happening. So, so I think the first thing that you need to be aware of when somebody is coming to you with this concern is, I mean, again, it's it's taking a lot of them to be able to do that, and they're probably worried about how you might react, or they're feeling desperate and are scared, and they're just not in a good, obviously not in a secure state. And I think it's very important to validate that that they are okay as they are, and they are enough, and that it's not their fault that they're being bullied, and that bullying does not reflect in any way how they actually are as a person, and that it's not happening to them because they are these things that people say they are, or they're worth these things that people do to them. There's not a direct causation there. It is the things that people say to people, you know, as a collective, as a group, are simply a projection of those people's fears and insecurities and shame about themselves. And the thing about it, and the thing that I would tell a person who's being bullied, would be that the if they didn't if people didn't join in with, if bullies didn't band together, um, they would feel like their security was on the line. They would feel threatened. Not threatened in a safe or unsafe way, in terms of they're physically threatened, or but they would feel like their status was threatened. They would feel like their social, their worth, they would feel like people would judge them if they didn't. So they have to join in because of that, not because there is this communal agreement on what kind of person you are. It's they have bought into the perceived hierarchy of this social chain, the social agenda. I mean, there's no direct reflection on who you are as a person, based on their actions toward you. And what it is, I would tell them, I mean, when I sometimes need to remind myself, is that what they're doing is really making up a sense of power. And they feel like without taking that kind of action to demonstrate this sense of power, they would be powerless. And they fear that. Which is why they target others. It's taken me a very long time to come to those sorts of realizations, and now I believe that they're true. Holding them true gives me more power, gives me more merit. And it's taken me, a long time to come to the realization and also to believe it, or to believe others who've said it, or have said versions of it. So, bullying is something that can stay with you for a long time. Often, people of any age can be bullied, but, the bullying that I experienced was very young. And that really stayed with me. It was almost like a PTSD reaction. If I ever saw one of them in the street years later, I still feel this like instant kind of sickness. Like the first, like, before I can even form a thought, I guess the immediate thought, the reactionary thought upon a sighting of someone is that I'm still less than. I'm still inferior. I'm still not worth being liked. And I'm still scared. And, and there's a reason I don't think about this very much. It's very painful. But it's definitely something I need to work on because, its staying power is legitimate. So I think if you tell somebody who's being bullied that they are not to be blamed for this, that they are just perfect as they are, and they don't deserve any of this, and then you're communicating with them on a level that says to them that they're your equal, which being bullied intrinsically creates a dynamic of inequality. So you're bringing them back up to a level where they feel like an equal human being, worthy of having a voice, worthy of claiming who they are. And if you have somebody in your life like that when you're being bullied, that's a real major gift. So try to reinforce that for them. And then definitely take some action, whether that would be talking to a parent, or a teacher who might have just glossed over it or just didn't want to see it. The one time I said something even remotely and I said the smallest thing once to a teacher. It really didn't, it wasn't reflective of the whole experience, but it was something. And the thing that she said back to me was, wow, they really don't like you. And that was all she said. So obviously, teachers need to be educated. So, I think talking to other people with like minds with in similar situations, is a good idea. Gathering your resources, gathering your tools is a good idea. Just helping this person feel like they're not alone. It's really, really important because they feel so easily abandoned when they're in those situations, even by their own friends, because sometimes your friends end up taking the sides of the bullies because of this sense of this notion of having to choose. Because maybe this happened with my friends. If my friends took my side, the people who were bullying me wouldn't like them anymore. Maybe they would bully them too. But if my friends took their side, not only would they not be bullied, but they would be cool. You know? And that stuff is very real for kids and even for adults in many ways. So, yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents on the issue. And thanks for creating the topic again, Brianna. I appreciate it. All right, take care. Bye bye.